Welcome to another episode of the Granite List Live, where we talk about all things related to employee benefits and human capital. I'm Lee Dill, and I am thrilled to be joined today by Matt Donaldson with Rippling. I see y'all's ads all over LinkedIn. Props to your marketing department. They do a great job at grabbing attention, but it sounds like y'all have just raised your Series E funding, so you're doing lots in this space. So Matt, tell us a little bit about the product that you are responsible for and the clients that you serve.
Yeah, Rippling is a product that is meant to solve the needs of workforce management that spans HR, IT, and finance, kind of thinking about the problem of workforce management holistically versus very specific to only payroll or only benefits or only time and attendance. It's thinking about how do we streamline workforce management across the entire business.
And technology is really important. That's where everybody's going. You are really trying to arm the brokers that you work with an additional tool in their tool belt to help their clients. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're going about that?
Yeah, that's right. When Rippling thinks about brokers, we think of them as trusted advisors for their clients and not just about the benefits offering in particular, but solving for what are the challenges the business faces, what are the goals the business has, and how the broker can align to those. And so Rippling is partnering up with brokers to help them provide something that fits those needs, right? Making sure that alongside streamlining benefits and cost containment, that the broker can take a consultative approach to solving the needs of their clients.
And technology is one way to do that. So, why is technology so important?
I think that's a great question. We've seen the progression, especially in this industry, over the last, call it 6 or 7 years, where a lot of the market was on paper. Then we kind of progressed to there's a little bit of disruption out there with the company that starts with a Z. Then we had some of those point solutions that popped up. And I think now we've kind of come full circle to all-in-one solutions that are there to streamline the needs of any business. And I think technology is important there because it does quite a few things. And really, the mission that Rippling is on, I think, speaks to this pretty specifically. And that mission is that we want to free smart people to work on hard problems. Meaning, if I'm somebody on the HR team, my time is best spent on strategic initiatives for the business, be it diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives that are especially important these days. It could be employee retention challenges the business has, something along those lines, not the day-to-day minutia of I got to transfer this data either from paper to this system or from this system to the next system, let alone how error prone that happens to be.
So, y'all are a full service PEO, and you do everything from benefits to payroll administration to state taxes, it appears. Can you tell us a little bit about what's included in those benefit plans? I know a lot of the brokers listing are benefits advisors. So, what is the motive for them pushing Rippling to their clients?
Yeah, I think the first thing to clarify there, and that's a great question, and something that often gets a little bit misconstrued, which is that Rippling is first and foremost a technology solution for clients. We happen to have a PEO offering that sits on top of that technology solution, but we don't require that our clients operate within that PEO. And so brokers will work with us really in sort of two categories. The first one, and really the main one, is leveraging technology for the clients that they are the broker of record on, right? So benefits are in the open market, and Rippling's solution is there to help administrate those benefits and make sure that it's deeply integrated with the rest of the business operations. The flip side of that, like we mentioned, is that we do have a PEO offering. Within that PEO offering, it includes access to pooled benefits, right? And I think most people kind of understand the why PEOs exist, but at the end of the day, there's a couple of things. The first is certainly for most businesses, richer benefits at usually a reduced set of prices versus the open market. We help alleviate an administrative burden outside of just the technology that we're providing. What I mean by that is, like you mentioned, helping to manage state tax registrations for any state that a company enters. We'll manage the unemployment insurance claims for any employees. We're also there to provide HR administrative support, right? Whether that's, hey, what's the rule for this state for this specific situation, and make sure that our clients have the right set of guidance there.
Perfect. Because as we talk to HR leaders really are bogged down with the nitty gritty things, and alleviating a lot of those tasks really does help them. You mentioned that you really like to work with the consultative brokers, the ones that come in and really like to dig in and figure out what's going on and what the roadblocks are within that health plan and finding the right vendors. to bring down cost and make the HR team, their lives a little bit easier. So the landscape has changed from just really selling fully insured plans to self-insured plans or bringing different vendors in. Can you tell me why you're doing what you're doing and why you are so passionate about what you do in helping others?
Yeah. I think for me personally, I love working for a company that is truly solving problems for businesses out there. It's not just some shiny piece of technology. It's something that like truly creates an impact in the day-to-day lives of our customers and of our partners for that matter. And I think in today's environment, that's even more important, right? Like the macroeconomic climate has certainly deteriorated here in the last couple of years. And so I think for every savvy business out there, they're looking at what are the ways that we can really drive the business forward and make sure that we're setting ourselves up for the long term and not just in the short term here. And so I think that's really what I'm passionate about here is making sure that we're providing a solution there.
Hmm. And so, what type of companies do you like to work with? What's your ideal size? What's your ideal industry?
Yeah. The short answer is whatever clients our partners are working with. But that being said, Rippling is a great fit for any clients that are anywhere from 5 employees to 2,000 employees. We certainly have clients that are above that mark there, but I think our sweet spot is in the 5 to 2,000. From an industry standpoint, really it kind of spans the set of industries out there. We have clients on one end of the spectrum that are, we'll call it sort of like white collar companies, whether they're tech companies, life sciences, professional services, anybody in those types of categories, all the way to could be a hotel chain, quick service restaurants, or even one of our customers I just noticed the other day is a trash collection company where they provide a concierge trash collection service to their customers and sort of everything in between. And then I think the last note around companies that are good for Rippling, and this is a sort of a recent thing for us, but a big focus for us, and I think for the market in general, would be companies with any level of global workforce, right? So again, landscape has changed for businesses in the last couple of years here. COVID kind of accelerated these efforts for the distributed workforce. And a result of that is that it's pretty common these days for companies to have employees that are outside of the country they're HQ'd in. And so Rippling operates in 7 countries outside of just the US alone.
Hmm. I love y'all's logo because you really are making waves and ripples in this industry. Do you have any success stories? Can you tell us a story that one of your brokers has told you of how they've really impacted one of their clients?
Yeah. I was trying to think about some of these really good success stories, and I think we get the benefit of picking from quite a few good ones. I think one that comes to mind, and this was a year or two ago, but one that comes to mind is a prospective client of a broker, right? So we don't work with just the existing clients that our broker partners have, but also help them win that new business. And I think that's an important distinction where they're using us as a really empowering piece of technology to help them win their own business. And for this client in particular, it was a multi state client with a chain of about 25 quick service restaurants, right around 1,200 employees in total, I think. And the broker came across an HR admin, right? Somebody on the HR team, I think the VP of HR and operations. And it's a story that I think will resonate with a lot of folks where they'd used the really recognizable names in the industry, right? They'd been with ADP for years. They tried to move to Paycor and streamline operations that way. And as they made those moves, they realized that each system had its holes or its gaps. In particular, for a business that has, I think, quite a bit of turnover, right? Quick service restaurants, you're going to see a decent amount of turnover, especially with a younger workforce. Having a paperless process, entirely paperless process, was super important to them. And neither of those vendors and a lot of the others that are, I think, some of the more common names in industry can really say that they have a truly paperless onboarding experience that's deeply integrated to the rest of the force setup, whether that's on the onboarding front and not being able to collect all the information they need to digitally. It could be based on employee changes, right? When somebody moves addresses or has a child or whatever the set of things are. And it could be things just related to operations, making sure that data gets from one place to another in a truly seamless manner. And I think that kind of comes back to Rippling's value prop, which is that we're a single entry system where you enter data once and it ripples out or propagates out to all the relevant systems. And I think for a lot of the competitors this person had worked with, what we've seen in the past is that a lot of these brands will acquire new technologies to try to supplement whatever they have in place today. And they end up with sort of like a band-aided together solution where things don't work as you would expect them to, right? If I change somebody's salary over here, theoretically or ideally it would end up over here automatically. And that's just not the case in a lot of these other systems. And so the broker, recognizing that need and being one of our existing partners, was able to bring Rippling in to showcase what a truly digital, streamlined experience looks like. And the result was a really happy client that was able to reduce administrative time by, I think, like 50%
wow.
across their G&A function.
That's amazing. So the consolidation is really your selling point.
I think that's going to be one of the main selling points for sure.
So thank you so much for sharing that story and how the integration of your great technology can really benefit those employer groups that you serve. Can you tell us a little bit about the incentive for brokers to have this Rippling tool in their toolbox when they're reaching out to new and potential clients?
Yeah. So on top of the technology offering that Rippling provides for brokers and then for their clients, there's certainly some incentives that we provide to our partners. We want to make it really easy for them to work with us. The first is that for any of the individuals that are working with us, not necessarily the agency, for the referrals that they bring to us, we give them a gift card up to $4,000 based on sort of like the size of the company and whether or not they end up going with us. So definitely some incentives for the individuals. I know a lot of folks out there love the Amazon gift cards. We provide free benefits administration software for those referrals. So typically that's a paid product for the rest of our customer base. But when our partners are bringing those in, we want to remove, again, a lot of the barriers to entry. And we also understand that there's other solutions out there that brokers have. So we don't want to kind of make it a decision point there. So we waive the cost of benefits administration. We do some custom pricing for our broker partners and their referrals as well, where we make sure that Rippling is very competitively priced versus the rest of the market. Our partners get some white glove support. And so that looks like some dedicated support for their own use. Their clients get some streamlined implementation service and then expedited support once they're ultimately a customer. For brokers that do choose to bring clients that work in our PEO, we of course want to compensate them since they would lose out on the broker of record there. And so we pay them recurring referral fees equal to up to $35 per enrolled employee per month. And then on top of all of that, we'll also do some field events. So we'll give our broker partners some marketing budget where we'll help them put together some kind of, in-person or type field type marketing events for them.
Wow. Who wouldn't want to get in touch and learn more? So, Matt, tell us, how do we reach out to you?
The best way to get in touch with us is if you go to the website, that's the easiest place, is go to rippling.com, click request demo, and we'll make sure we get you added to the appropriate person. If you'd prefer to just shoot us an email, you can shoot an email to brokers@rippling.com, and we'll make sure that we get you aligned with the right person there.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Matt, for joining us. Rippling sounds like they really are making waves in lots of different aspects of the HR team and helping the broker really solve the problems that their clients are trying to solve themselves. So thank you for joining us on another episode of the Granite List Live. And to find Rippling, you can log in and find their page, or also go to www.rippling.com/brokers. Thanks again, Matt, and for tuning in to another episode of the Granite List Live.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Granite List Live. Access our entire library by visiting your favorite podcast venue or subscribe on our site, thegranitelist.live.